Okay, we'd like to bring some of the folks that you met earlier down front, and we're going to go through a short discussion with them. You'll have an opportunity to ask them some questions. So first, from Meteor 17, you met him earlier, Spencer Proffer. Spencer? And his son, Morgan? Thomas Horn. Ryan Simpkins. Grayson Russell. From Walden Media, Chip Flaherty. From ARC Entertainment, Trevor Drinkwater. And our CEO, Dr. Deborah Barnhart. Okay, Spencer, we're gonna let you lead off a little bit. At the very beginning, before we played the movie, we saw the wonderful music video that you put together. And can you tell us a little bit about how the music in that really conveyed the story and emotion of Space Warriors and really the 16-year journey from when Morgan first came here?
Okay. Well, there's a particular ethos that Space Camp has, which is about dreaming and inspiration and all. So some of the songs that we put against the music to decorate the movie actually spoke lyrically to the sensibility of just that. So the first song in the video was in the montage during Aviation Challenge, which is called It Doesn't Matter. And the chorus is, it doesn't matter who you are, follow your dreams and you'll go far. That kind of dealt with the kids and the relationships that were established. The second song you heard in the video was We're Just Pioneers, a young punk band from the Warped Tour called Fireworks. And that pretty much celebrates competition, and we're pioneers and we can just, overcome everything. Then the last song was by a guy named Toby Mack called We're Unstoppable. And pretty much that's what Space Warriors are. That's what kids who come to Space Camp feel. That, after a week of Dr. Barnhart and your training, they're unstoppable. So pretty much I wanted the songs in the video to reflect the spirit of the movie. And that's what we did, and we just very carefully picked every scene, every cut, every dissolve to kind of speak to the spirit of the movie.
Thank you. Deborah, most of the storyline of the movie comes right out of what happens at Space Camp every day. How does the movie reflect the core values and culture of Space Camp and Aviation Challenge?
You see the leadership and the teamwork right away, and I think it just focuses on the confidence to follow your instincts and your intellect. And that's what we're trying to imbue the folks that come through our programs, not just children, but adults and teams. So I think everyone can feel that right straight through the film. And I just want to acknowledge that doesn't come from me, ever. It comes from our crew trainers. Thank you to our crew trainers.
Okay, well, we'll throw the next question to a former crew trainer, to Morgan. Tell me a little bit about your interest in space and how that got started on your journey 16 years ago.
My interest in space, look up. It's that answering that proverbial question, how does it work? And you look up, why is the sky blue? Why when you drop something, why does it drop? If you drop a hammer and a feather on the moon, why do they land at the same time? And Space Camp gave me that opportunity to explore it in a comfortable environment, because you're young, you don't have the guidance you necessarily need unless both your parents are, Neil deGrasse Tyson. So astrophysicist, check him out. Star Talk podcast, drop it. But it was, Space Camp gave me that opportunity to really explore it in a comfortable environment, and an encouraging environment. And like Dr. Barnhart said, the crew trainers here they give that inspiration, and they're so knowledgeable about anything that you need to know, from the history of space to how a rocket works to what's the difference between a solid rocket booster and what's messing around in that external tank, that big orange thing underneath the orbiter. So Space Camp really gave me that opportunity and nurtured that love and that desire, which is why I'm a certified nerd, and I spend my time on Khan Academy doing astrophysics in my spare time. I think I have 30,000 points now just in astrophysics on Khan Academy. And so I love that, and I hope this movie provides kind of that little incentive or that nudge that kids can go, wow, space is cool, science is cool, and I really need to buy a hologram. So.
Absolutely, yes. Well, I think we've got quite a few nerds and science fiction fans here in the audience with us.
Loki?
Well, Lacey, or not Lacey, Ryan,
This work?
since you raised your hand next, we'll switch over to you. I was checking with some of our NASA social people in the back, and they're, of course, on Facebook and Twitter. So I think a couple of them were checking out your Twitter feed.
Oh, yeah?
And saw a little bit of your interest in science fiction and Doctor
gosh.
Who and things like that. So how did you approach the lead female role of Lacey?
Well, like, originally, Lacey's supposed to be, like, she's really cocky and confident, and she's supposed to be, like, this rich girl who never really fit in with the other rich kids, like, at her school or in Las Vegas. And she doesn't really fit in with the kids at Space Camp, at least originally, because a lot of them, I think, assume that she's just like, oh, she's just that rich girl, blah, 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 blah. But, oh, wow, sorry. I saw, like, she had this story of her dad died, so I felt like she had, like, a barrier up, and she didn't want to get too attached or too close to anyone, and she was just afraid of, like, making friends, kind of. But then she meets Jimmy and all the other kids, and she realizes, no, I like these people, and this is what I like doing, and they like doing it too. So we should be buddies, and then they are buddies, and that's kind of what I saw as Lacey. But I would like to believe that Lacey is a Doctor Who fan, just saying.
Which doctor?
10, it's easy, or 7, because in the Hobbit movie, and the Hobbit, we're both huge Lord of the Rings fans. The 7, Sylvester McCoy, plays Radagast the Brown, who is an amazing wizard. So there you have it.
Well, picking that up, Chip, let's swing over to you for a second, because certainly publishing and education is right up your alley. Tell us a little bit about your partnership, not only on this project, but overall, and how you see Walden fitting in to the big picture.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I mean, I'm from Boston, so hopefully they'll have subtitles behind me up on the screen as I speak, and you can decipher my accent. Well, Walden started 13 years ago, and we really had two missions, but Walden's named after Walden Pond in Massachusetts, because us Massachusetts guys, we're very parochial about our stuff. But Thoreau talked about always build castles in the air, but make sure you have foundations to reach up to them. And I think that's what we try to do with our films, in the fact that the castles in the air is that great catalytic event, that inspiring movie that you see, but what do you do afterward to sustain it? I mean, these actors have been fantastic. Kids their age will emulate and want to be like them, but what do they do next? So that's why at walden.com we have educational stuff, learning things, and we're always trying to tell kids. A lot of our movies first started on books. Read the books, learn as much as you can. So that's really what we've tried to do to go back to Thoreau, which is kind of follow a different drummer, but always try to learn, always try to better yourself.
Good, thank you. Trevor, you put together a powerful team here of partners to make not only this family film movie, but a series of good quality family films. Do you see this really as the future of bringing these moderately budgeted films to wider audiences through a theatrical release and then on to a partner like Hallmark and then with Walmart to DVD?
Yes, you know, I started this company about 3 years ago after spending time in the big studio system, and one of the things that I thought was a real opportunity was for companies to partner with other companies that have like mind at bringing great family content to consumers. I feel like there's not enough great family content out there right now, films that families can sit around the dinner table or sit around the TV and watch together, films that kids will like, and as well as the adults. The director in this film is Sean McNamara, who did Soul Surfer. I think that's a great example of a film enjoyed by the entire family. So the partners in this film, Walden Media, U.S. Space and Rocket Center, Walmart, and Procter & Gamble, are all companies that are focused on supporting great family film. And that's really what our mission is to come together in films that tell a great story, that allow the families to sit around and watch these movies, and then after, hopefully create a dialogue and promote learning, as Chip had said here. And so in partnership with many great partners, we have a series of films that will be coming out this year and next year focused on that. So we're very proud to be involved. And this, I think, is a great exposition of what we're trying to accomplish here with the message behind the film and the partners that are involved.
Great, thank you. Grayson, what does it mean to you to make this feature film in your home state, and how much of your accent was accentuated?
Well, if you go back and you watch some of my earlier films, especially like Talladega Nights, you can see where it is just awfully thick, and now it's really thick. But really, especially when I did other films like The Diaries, we did all of those in Vancouver, up in Canada. And that was really cool for me to actually get to do one in my home state and get to represent my state as an actor. And with other movies, I end up having to talk like this, which is even, probably you couldn't have even heard a difference in that, but I like to think I can. But we try to tone it down according to the role.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we needed a translator between yourself and Chip there.
Exactly,
To help.
exactly.
And finally, Thomas, in your previous film, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, you worked with Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock. What was it like in this film to work with actors amongst your generation?
Well, I mean, they've both been great experiences, but working with actors my own age was a really special privilege because, well, there's a lot of downtime, frankly, on set. And during that time, we could talk about things that are contemporary to our generation, which was much more interesting. And off the set, we could do fun things like play games in the hotel pool. And yeah, I had a great time. I think it would have been much less interesting if I hadn't had so many great child actors to work with.
Well, good, thank you. Okay, now we're going to open it up. We've got a couple of our crew trainers that are going to help. If you've got a question, Charlie, if you'd kind of head to the middle over here and just raise your hand, we'll get you a microphone, and you can address it to a specific person or to the group, and we'll see where the discussion goes. Okay? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Right over here.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank you and tell you how proud I am tonight to be from Huntsville, and what you saw in our area and how you presented it. I just want to burst with pride. Thank you all very, very much.
Okay, right here. Charlie.
Hey, I just wanted to see if there were any of the assimilations from Space Camp that you guys said, I am not going to do that. Or get me off of this thing right now.
We were kind of forced to do all of them. against our will. Like, what's the spinny one that goes around? I'm stupid, I forget. The centrifuge. That was kind of terrifying, and we were all like pumped and excited. We were like, yeah, centrifuge, gonna do this. And then I went on with Sahana, who played Chandra, or Chandra, I don't know. But we were going around, and at first we were like, yeah, this is cool. And then slowly we were like, oh my God, we're gonna die. Oh my God. And like, you could not lift your arms. It was terrifying, but it was also really fun. So, you know, we got to go scuba diving, and that was cool. Most of them were like really fun, and we were totally like 100% behind doing. So, yeah, most of them.
Mike, can I ask a reverse question?
Yes.
We have tonight in the audience Skylab astronaut Owen Garriott, and I'd like to know what Owen thought of the film. Sorry to put you on the spot, Owen.
Yes.
Thank you, Deborah. I was very favorably impressed with the whole thing, and the reality of the whole thing came quite true. There are a few things that in the movie that are not available right here, but not so many. And I was very pleased with the way it came through, and I'm sure it's going to provide incentive for a lot of young people to come see it for themselves and do it for themselves.
We're honored to have you. Thank you, Owen.
Thank you, Owen. Any other questions? Yes, right down front. Okay.
Well, you know, the thing is, when you go through the various experiences and various chapters of the space camp experience, you're going to feel different emotions. So you'll hear, like in the cafeteria, we put a country song in because you're down in Huntsville, and kids might be vibing to that. At the other side of the coin, when you feel the Coldplay vibe of the montage, and then you've got big classical elements in the score, and of course the William Tell Overture is comedic in its own right. So when they went through that entire sequence and they were feeling that, that's kind of how you feel when you hear the William Tell Overture. So it was there by design. And it was public domain, so it cost us nothing.
Do we have any questions maybe from the back from our NASA social group? No? Okay. One right down here.
This is a technical question, I guess, but did they actually have a gas canister system if something like that occurred?
Well, not too long ago, when on the last, I think it was STS, it was in the late 20s, there was actually an ammonia pump failure. So some of the systems we used for the film are relevant to what they actually did in space. And what you see, Dexter, that big, multi-armed robot up that was holding Robonaut, is actually a real thing. And so we played off both of those in the relationship between the two, not just because they're visually stimulating, but also because there are things that can be controlled from Earth. And so we played off the two of those. The removal of the box, the system, the footage you saw is actual NASA helmet cam footage from that mission. So that actually is real ammonia pump replacement footage. So we were very lucky to be able to use that in the film and give it some real realism on top of the spectacle of two kids virtually in two spacesuits doing an EVA together with their beautiful gold visors so they don't get blinded and radiation blindness.
Okay, over here.
Earlier you said the movie was going to open this weekend.
Yes.
Does that mean it will open here in theaters?
In Huntsville, it's going to only be shown here in this theater, it will show every day at 4 and 7 p.m., but it will show around the southeast and a few other locations in Carmike theaters exclusively for a period of time. You can go on to our website, spacecamp.com/Space Warriors, and we've got a link that shows all of the cities that the movie is playing in with links to their website for tickets. So if you've got friends and family around the country that are near a Carmike theater, they can watch it there. It will also air, and I mentioned earlier, on the Hallmark Channel. It's going to air several airings on that cable channel, and then it will be for sale on DVD exclusively in Walmart stores nationwide. So it's sort of a phased rollout with 3 different pieces. But in Huntsville, we've got the exclusivity in this market to show it in this theater here at 4 and 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Yep. And that saved me an announcement at the end, so that was a good question. So. Okay, we're right. Okay. Yep, go ahead.
I had a question. I was curious for the younger students. Are you in school, or do you do like homeschool? How do you do your schooling classes up here?
Thomas, you want to start with that one?
I'm personally in a regular public school, and when I have to work, I try to plan my work around school such that in the past 2 years, I've maybe missed a total of 12 days to do work. So I've been able to work it out fairly well, I think.
Okay, Ryan?
Yeah, I also go to like public school, real school. All schools real school, don't call it real school. And yeah, I mean, if you have to miss some school to do work or like to go to a premiere or something, that's cool. And the teachers will like, if they're nice teachers, they'll email you your work. Some teachers aren't that nice. And then you have to make it up, which is, always fantastic. But I've been lucky enough, like especially recently, to get to work in the summer a lot. Like this filmed in the summer, the film I did before that filmed in the summer. Like we're super lucky. But yeah, public school.
Okay, Grayson?
With our school system, we've really been blessed really to have such a great school system, especially where I'm from. And it always ends up now, except kind of in this year, our school always starts earlier than everybody else's school, which when I say everybody else, most of the other actors, California, northern areas. So I end up being the only one who's doing schoolwork, and everybody else is running around everywhere, which was always great. But it's a real blessing. Our schools send my work up there, and I do it. And on some cases, well, and on particular one occasion, I came back like a semester ahead of my students in English. So I don't know how that happened, but that's one of the perks of it. But I like it. I like doing it.
Okay, I think we got a question right back here.
In real life, are y'all like really that interested in space and all that stuff?
Well, Doctor Who is a big space show, so there's that. And it's also really like time travel-y, so I recommend it. If you have not seen it, the new season is so great. Yes, where are my Whovians out there? I feel you. Yeah, that's right. All right. And, also, like, science has always been one of my favorite subjects. So, yeah, everyone, like, all of my friends were so jealous because I got to go to space camp to film this movie, and I thought it was just super fun. So, yeah, space and science is really cool.
Yeah. When I was about your age, I used to read thick science reference books just for fun, and I'm not quite that geeky maybe anymore, but I still carry some things like that around. I have a telescope, and I love to look at the stars through it. It's really beautiful. And my science class, which is chemistry, is one of my favorite classes in school. So,
Sorry, were you done?
So if you're interested in science and things like that, I just encourage you to keep being passionate and follow your dream. And I'm sorry to interrupt, Grayson.
Oh, no, you're fine. At some point in a kid's life, he wants to be an astronaut. At some particular point, whether it's for however long it is or however short it is, or it could be a lifelong thing they want to be an astronaut. For me, I had never been to space camp before, and that was great for me to actually have something as internationally big, so to speak, here in Alabama, in Huntsville. And that was just a great blessing for us and ultimately the whole cast to get to film here.
Okay. Yes.
I probably can speak louder. Anybody hear me? I just like the way the movie was. I just want to make a general comment because it showed that you may not be an astronaut, but you can do all those other things that support those astronauts in space and support all that technology. I work with soldiers who they actually are called the Army Space Warriors. If you go online, you see Space Warriors, you see SMDCR strap. Those are the soldiers that I work with and that I support. And they do what people, they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, long shifts away from their families, but they're here in the United States or all over the world. But they're kind of behind the scenes. You don't know that they're doing it, but those are the guys that are making all the satellite communications happen and moving those satellites so they don't run into that space debris. And that's what I liked about the movie, that it didn't just focus on the astronauts, but those people on the ground.
Absolutely. I think we've got several of the ground controllers from Marshall here. If you'll stand up, if you're in the audience, I think we've got 2 or 3 maybe, or maybe a few more. Right, one down here. Okay. Several scenes in the movie that used the real flight controllers that were in the background shots, and as well as some of the mission control shots that were done here for that. So, okay, we have another question, couple down here.
I want to know if Grayson liked throwing the pizza at the ceiling.
It's not every day you can throw pizza at the ceiling and not get in trouble for it. So I'm gonna go with yes. It was really funny. And then it would fall back down, and we would all be still staring at the ceiling. But I liked it.
How do the people at space get back to Earth?
The emergency spaceship went up and Soyuz. Thank you. The Soyuz went up and they got up and they opened the door and they thought, and they saw all the astronauts all like asleep, because when you're sleeping you don't breathe as much. You're still breathing obviously, but you don't breathe as much, so they weren't using up as much air. So there was still enough air for them to survive. So then they took them back into the Soyuz and they took them down, and everything was happy and good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, Thomas, tell us about your next project, the next film we'll see you in.
I'm not sure what it is yet, but that's a very good question, and I'm working to figure that out. I will let you know when I find out.
But, don't you have one that's going to be released soon?
Not that I know what it is, no.
Okay. Ryan, anything on upcoming projects that we might see you in?
I mean, my little brother's in Iron Man 3, so that's really cool. Oh, yeah, there he is. He's standing up over there. Yeah. I got to see that last night, and you should all see it because I think it's the best one. I'm a huge Marvel nerd, too, and I was freaking out. I met Joss Whedon. It was, like, the best moment of my life. But me personally, I'm signed on to do this Mary Pickford biopic, and I would play the young Mary Pickford, and that'd be really cool. My friend is directing, as she wrote, and she's hoping to direct a film called Mango-Shaped Space, which is based on an amazing book by Wendy Mass, who I've been in movies of book adaptations of her books before. And I would be in that, hopefully, with my little brother. And that would be really cool, but there's not enough funding necessarily for that, so, But, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what we got lined up, but, yeah. You guys want to help me out?
I recently did a film right before we actually filmed Space Warriors. It's called A Season of Miracles, and it's based on the book. It's based on the book by Rusty Whitener, and I play an autistic boy who plays baseball. alongside John Snyder, who many of you know as Bo Duke. And my dad always tells me if I don't get a job, I'm going to end up cutting grass. So hopefully I'll get something else so I won't have to cut grass anymore. But whatever works.
Good. Spencer, you've got a project coming up that on Fathom Space Nights. So, and taking away from this. So you want to share with the audience a little bit about that project?
Yeah, there's a platform called Fathom Events in National Cinemedia Theaters, which are Regal, Edwards, United Artists, AMC. And I've been producing events there for about the last 7 years. And we are going to do an initiative this fall, which we're calling Meteor Space Nights. And we're going to hopefully turn theaters, at least 600 theaters across the country, into virtual planetariums. And this is something that Walden and Chip and his brother Michael will be involved with us. And we will be interfacing with the actual ISS up in space. And we will have a panel of known people such as Neil deGrasse Tyson, Dr. Deborah Barnhart, you know, illustrious people in the space zone. And we've made an arrangement. If you're familiar with Jason Mraz, he has a wonderful song called 93 Million Miles, which will be the theme of the Space Nights. We're hoping to do that at least 3 to 4 times over the course of the next 2 years. Like you see the Metropolitan Opera in theaters, that's monthly. We're going to do ours quarterly, and we're hoping to launch our first one in association with Space Camp this fall.
Very good.
The basic premise to doing all of this, other than making money, which we can do and we plan to, is to further science, space education, and use the platform of media and entertainment in order to bring those virtues back to the country. The fact that there's no more missions, well, we're going to create missions, and we're just going to use media to do it.
Very good. Do we have any final question? I think we've got one.
Hi. Whoa. That's power. What a presence. I guess. I just wanted to say that I came to Space Camp when I was 13 years old, the second year that it was open. And you nailed it. And I just wanted to congratulate you of that. And I want to thank my Army counterpart back there for pointing out us Space Warriors, but I'd like to point out the Air Force says that too. Dr. Barnhart knows that as a fellow Space Warrior from the Air Force. And Grayson, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger.
Okay, let me just mention again, help get the word out on this. We want to showcase Huntsville, Alabama, and the Space Camp programs here, and certainly the great work that this team has done. So let folks know about where it's playing around the country. The Hallmark debut, which will be in a little over a month, I believe. Is it May 31st?
May 31st.
Okay, May 31st on the Hallmark Network, and then out in Walmart stores nationwide on DVDs. This weekend, and this, I need to thank Trevor on this one for timing the release of this movie to this particular weekend. And when the actors were coming over here this afternoon, we've got the 20th anniversary of the Great Moonbuggy Race going on, and that played a large part in the film. We had to kind of recreate some of that this summer or last summer for them, but those races are going to go on both tomorrow and on Saturday. We've got close to 100 teams from around the world that are competing in that. It's one of the best weekends to come out here Friday and Saturday to see that. Even if we get a little rain on Saturday, it's still worth your time to come out and see those races. Deborah, anything you want to share on the Moonbuggy races or on Space Camp to close it out tonight?
Listen, Moonbuggy is the coolest weekend of the year here. If you've never seen a great Moonbuggy race, come back tomorrow or Saturday and bring somebody with you. We're so glad you came out tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the cast and crew.